Question 41. Antebrachial muscles, or muscles of the forearm. You have anterior muscles, which are mainly flexors, and you have posterior muscles, which are mainly extensors. The anterior muscles are divided into a superficial and a deep group. The superficial group includes the pronator teres, Flexor Carpi Radialis, Palmaris Longus, Flexor Carpi Ulnaris, and Flexor Digitorum superficialis. The deep group includes the Flexor Digitorum Profundus, Flexor Pollicis Longus, and also Pronator Quadratus, which is under here. Now about each, the pronator teres origins on the medial epicondyle and also on the coronoid process of ulna. You can see here, medial condyle and coronoid process of ulna, and it inserts on the upper part of lateral surface of radius. Function is pronation of forearm. Next we have Flexor Carpi Radialis. It origins on the medial epicondyle. It inserts on the basis of second metacarpal bone, and the function is flexion of wrist. Palmaris Longus also origin on the medial epicondyle. It inserts on the palmar aponeurosis, and function is flexion of wrist. Flexor Carpi Ulnaris origin medial epicondyle and also posterior border of ulna. Here you have Flexor Carpi Ulnaris, and it inserts on the fifth metacarpal bone, the basis, and also on pisiform bone. Function is flexion of wrist. Flexor Digitorum superficialis origins on medial epicondyle and coronoid process and anterior border of radius. It inserts on the middle phalanges, and the function is flexion of phalanges and wrist. Now the deep group, Flexor Digitorum Profundus, origins on upper 2/3 of ulna and interosseous membrane. Inserts on the basis of distal phalanges. Function is flexion of phalanges and wrist. Flexor Pollicis Longus origins on the anterior surface of radius, interosseous membrane, and coronoid process. Inserts on the base of distal phalanx of thumb. Function is flexion of thumb. Lastly, we have pronator quadratus here. It origins on the distal end of ulna and inserts on the distal end of radius. Function is pronation of forearm. The nerve supply of the anterior group of muscles is mainly the median nerve. The posterior group, mainly extensors. Nerve supply is radial nerve. You have a superficial group and a deep group. Superficial group include brachioradialis muscle, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, extensor digitorum, extensor digiti minimi, extensor carpi ulnaris, and anconeus. The deep group include the supinator, the abductor Pollicis longus, the external Pollicis brevis, extensor Pollicis brevis, extensor Pollicis longus, extensor indicis. The brachioradialis muscle origins on the lateral supracondylar ridge. It inserts on the styloid process of radius, and function is flexion of forearm. Anconeus origins on the lateral epicondyle, inserts on the lateral side of olecranon, and function is extension of forearm. Then you have extensor Carpi radialis longus, which origins on the lateral supracondylar ridge and lateral epicondyle, and inserts into the base of second metacarpal bone, and the function is extension of wrist. Then you have extensor Carpi radialis brevis, which origins on the lateral epicondyle and inserts on the base of the third metacarpal bone. Then we have extensor digitorum, origins on lateral epicondyle, inserts on the proximal phalanx and dorsal digital expansion. Function is extension of phalanges. Extensor digiti minimi, origin on lateral epicondyle, inserts on the dorsal digital expansion, and function is extension of the little finger. Extensor Carpi radialis, origin on the lateral epicondyle and posterior border of ulna, and inserts on the fifth metacarpal bone, and function is extension of wrist. Now for the deep group. The Abductor Pollicis longus origins on the dorsal surface of ulna, interosseous membrane and radius, and inserts on the first metacarpal bone, and the function is abduction of thumb. Then you have extensor Pollicis brevis, which origins on the radius and interosseous membrane, and inserts on the base of the proximal phalanx, and the function is extension of thumb. Then you have extensor Pollicis longus, which origins on the ulna and interosseous membrane, and inserts on the base of distal phalanx. Function is extension of phalanx, of thumb. You have extensor indicis, origins on the ulna and interosseous membrane, and inserts on the base of distal phalanx of the index finger. Function is extension of index finger. The nerve supply of the muscles of the forearm. Here you have the radial nerve in blue, which supply all the posterior muscles. Here you have the median nerve in green that supplies mostly all the anterior muscles. And also the ulnar nerve supplies the Flexor Carpi Ulnaris and parts of Flexor Digitorum Profundus.